An unprecedented high death toll due to the COVID-19 pandemic has left funeral parlours under tremendous pressure. They say they are now running short of coffins. Hundreds of people die daily, and the number is increasing exponentially in the resurgence of COVID-19. Over 31,000 people have died from the complications related to the virus alone. ENCA's Heidi Jokos speaks to those who are working in the sector and joins me now for an update. So it's one of those stories, Heidi, that it's morbid in terms of its focus, but it's a reality check, isn't it, in terms of what we are dealing with COVID-19. What are the practitioners in the funeral sector telling you?
Definitely a morbid story, Tulas, that I'm covering today, and I must say it's such a reality check just to hear the experiences of those working directly with bodies that have passed on due to COVID-19 complications. But we are here in Soweto, Orlando, where we are in discussions with a funeral parlour owner, Vuyo Mabendisa. Thank you so much for your time, Vuyo. We appreciate it. I think let's just start off with the reality that you face every single day now that we're in the second wave, and you basically running out of coffins because there's a death spike because of COVID-19.
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah, we are. There's a stress in the funeral industry of the coffins because usually in summer our mortality rate is low, so the manufacturers, they don't up the game to manufacture more coffins. So now, and they're also on holidays, so when they come back, they start to manufacture. But as we speak now, we are struggling with coffins, and the high rate of COVID-19 has come back to us to haunt us, because on daily, when we do about 10 funerals a day, 30% of that, 3 of that will be COVID positive last patient funerals. Yes.
So speak to us about, the reality from when it was the first wave, because of course we did have COVID-19 deaths, but it wasn't so high. Now we're averaging about 300 to 400 COVID-19 deaths per day. So just speak to us about the difference between the first wave and the second wave and what you've been experiencing as a funeral parlour.
Yes, when the first wave came in, yes, we were not sure about what to do and all that stuff. But now, like in a day at Vuyo's funeral, we'll be about 20 funerals, 20 bodies per day, and then 60% of those will be COVID-related death. So at that time, using that time as a barometer to now, so now the death rate has went up, and because there are more infectious. So the stress that the funeral parlour has is that you look at the infectious people, it will alarm you to that more death might come in sooner or later. So that's the stress that we're having now because of the input in manufacturing of coffins and the output in the supplier. The retail demand is not the same. So now as we speak, now we are back to the first wave in the second wave, and it's very early. Usually in summer, people we will have a low mortality rate. But this summer we are as busy as May, June, July, the first wave, yes.
Yeah, it's extremely concerning. Just speak to us about the measures that you've put in place to make sure that your staff is protected, and also given the fact that families cannot perform rituals in terms of washing the body, and how you handle COVID-19 bodies that come in.
Yes, what we do, we've got a COVID response team here. So now it will be from when you receive the call where the family report the death, then they'll be interviewed that any symptoms, or do you know if the body is COVID positive or not. So as soon as, let's suppose they know that the body was COVID related, so now the COVID related response team then will know which car to take and which staff. There are 2 people, they'll go and collect the body from the hospital. When they come back here to register the body, then we've got a separate fridge, which is a mortuary, for COVID-related bodies. And only our morticians that receive the bodies, not all the morticians, will have a person that receives the COVID-related bodies only. And then from there, even though they coffin the body and dispatch the body for burial, it's only 2 people that will do with that. so that in case they become infected, then we have a group B or team B to come on the standby and work on that. So all the measures, the PPEs and everything, we have them on site, and then those PPEs are the ones that help us to mitigate the risk that we have. So for now, in terms of capacity of the PPEs and everything, we are capacitated.
Okay. I know we're running out of time, but perhaps to show us around at what you have and what are some of the challenges that you're facing because of this shortage from manufacturers.
You know, if I can just jump quickly, because of more people are dying and the economy is going down, and more people of our members are dying. So now, people are forced to choose the coffins that are usually expensive. Unlike getting the coffins that are ordinarily, because those that are ordinarily are running short. But we are trying by all means to get ordinary coffins like the ones that you see around here. If you can check around you, yeah, the ones here, just to check on you. These are the most going rate coffins, because these coffins are reasonable and classic, and they look better than everything. Even the clients, when they come, we ask them to get the first choice of these coffins, or then they can go to other coffins, depending with their strength that they have. But the coffins that are manufactured locally, like these ones, we are running short of them because of people have not came back to work to manufacture the coffins in the manufacturing site. So we buy what they have now.
And those that are most expensive, for example, you were saying these ones over here are quite expensive. Yes. Do you have a problem with stock when it comes to these ones?
Here we don't have stock at non-resident, but now what we have is that the seller of these coffins is the one that is having a problem, because I can tell if we order a coffin and they say we are not sure that we have, it means they've got a problem with receiving the coffins from overseas. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for your time, Boya. We do appreciate it. You know, as I previously said to us, it's quite a reality check just hearing about the experiences that many face, and we will be speaking to some of the staff members here whose lives have completely changed because of what they have to deal with on a daily basis. But the reality is that stock is running out, and of course there is a big issue with stock coming from overseas, as many countries are still in lockdown, and export is definitely still, and import is still very big problem because of the restrictions that have been implemented globally.
Yeah, absolutely. Sobering story there, Heidi Jokos. I mean, that undertaker talking about carrying out 10 funerals a day, and that's just his business that is involved there, and him talking about the fact that the lower end, more affordable coffins are the ones that where they are facing the more pressure there, with the result that people really have no choice but to buy the more expensive coffins, as we see more and more people dying during the second wave of COVID-19.